This is the Cruise Dynasty Podcast. We got all your fantasy wants and needs, gambling wants and needs, but tonight it's Dynasty Talk. We like to hit these topics. Friday night episode, but hold up real quick. Craft Man, I'm sober tonight. What's up?
I'm sober tonight. New Year's Day, New Year's Eve weekend. I need a break.
Yep, been going too hard. Heck, I haven't drank this year. 6 days, so 6 strong days. C Swizzy, what's going on, man?
I ain't fucking sober. I'm high as a motherfucker. Every day. I ain't even gonna lie. I think I've smoked every day of the year, to be honest with y'all.
Man, deep down, I wish I was like you. But yeah, shoot, tonight we're going to talk about some buy low targets, some buy low. We're at the end of the 2022 season. It's really week 18, so we're at the very end of the fantasy season. Just some buy lows. Maybe we'll even touch on some more buy lows later in the off season. Maybe some things will change up because you got free agency out there. The NFL draft, so things might change. But as of right now, we got some buy low guys. Later on, we'll probably hit some sell highs. Not this episode, but another episode. But it's the off season now, so we're gonna start getting into some dynasty content, and some rookie content. But tonight is some dynasty stuff. I guess before we move on, add the podcast, 5-star review. Add us on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. You can add Craftman on Twitter, me on Twitter, the Cruise Podcast on Twitter. Anything I'm missing, C Swizzy?
Nah, you got it all.
So yeah, support the show. The Discord, join the Discord. Interact with us a little bit. So yeah. We're gonna touch on some buy low targets tonight. Probably hit on every position. We're gonna give some basically, here's what I want to say before I get going on, at least on mine, and I don't know, y'all can chime in on this. Some of these names that I might give out are buy lows from, what they were maybe from past seasons or whatever. Like, now's a good time. You might can sneak in, slide in for the buy. Still might cost a lot to get some of these guys, but it's going to cost less now than, and maybe you can capitalize on that value. Then some of these guys are going to be deep in the weeds, deep in the mud, like guys out there that you can get almost for free, maybe even be on your waiver wires. Some of those guys. So, Craftman, anything else I'm missing before we get to going?
I think we're going to have a good mixture of some big talent, big names, and just some guys that we need to, like you said, bring out of the weeds so everybody can keep an eye on them and remember that name in the back of your mind for free agents, startup drafts, and buy lows.
Man, I love this shit. Dynasty stuff, that's what I love the most, man. How y'all want to do? Y'all want to go by positions, or y'all just want to throw out a bunch of names, or how should we do it?
We can go position if you want to.
Chris, position sound good?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, well, shoot, man. I'll just go ahead and start it off then. We'll start off with the quarterbacks. These guys, this guy right here, he's more of like in your one quarterback leagues. So the first one I got is Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert, he's sliding in dynasty rankings. Probably gonna slide in some redraft rankings. I think I've kind of defended him all year. I think he was a little beat up. I know he got some rib cartilage hurt at the beginning of the year. His guys have been out, but let me just put it like this. This dude's only finished as a top 5 quarterback 2 times this season. 2 times. That's big difference from last year. You could definitely go hit up an owner of Justin Herbert. Michael Mitchell in the main league I'm thinking in. That dude was pissed at Justin Herbert all season. And some of these people get a little emotional with who they got. They ain't gonna hold. So you could probably go in and slide in, get Justin Herbert, and still have a top 5 guy for 10 years. Catch him on a downslide right now. This is about as cheap as you gonna get him. This year he finished as the quarterback 12. The quarterback 12. And last year he was the quarterback 2. What you say, Kraft man?
I got Justin Herbert on my dynasty squad, Superflex, and you ain't getting them from me. You're gonna have to bring the bank. I mean, I'm in the Superflex though, so the quarterbacks are definitely worth more. There's no way I could get rid of them. But in a single QB, you know, you might can slide in there. It'd be the perfect time to do it. I don't think he's gonna finish this low, probably in the rest of his career if he's healthy. This is probably the worst you're gonna get. And the passing yards were there. The touchdowns just disappeared this year. He couldn't. I mean, he just wasn't throwing for any touchdowns like he was the year before.
And look, I saw some clips literally the other day. Justin Herbert, some interceptions. This dude had some bad luck this year on a lot of interceptions. Like there was a lot of them that were not his fault. To go back on what you said, I agree. In Superflex leagues, zero chance you're about to get Justin Herbert. You're gonna have to haul it out. In a one quarterback league, though, you could probably slide. I think you could possibly get a Justin Herbert. Superflex, no way. C Swizzy, you got anything to say about Justin Herbert?
Nah, I mean, he's let a lot of people down. I could definitely see if you deal with a frustrated owner, they might come off with him. But like I said, Superflex too. I don't think you getting him. He's too valuable.
Yeah. I mean, this year compared to last year, he threw for 4,000. He still got a game left, but 4,466 yards and 23 touchdowns this year. In 2021, over 5,000 yards and 38 touchdowns. So even if you can find a little median right there, if he can get back in the 30s, you got yourself he was a QB1 with them stats, but his upside is he could finish a year at QB1
for sure. Sliding in a lot of dynasty rankings too that I've noticed. I looked around the league. I don't know how far he'll slide in mine, but Kraft man, give us a quarterback, man.
I'm gonna give y'all the nastiest one first. This dude is gross, but it can't get any lower. It's Russell Wilson. You cannot buy Russell Wilson any lower right now. You don't have to give up much at all to get him. He had a terrible year. And we all been dogging his ass on the show, and he might be done. Probably is done, but the coaching change, they're bringing in a new system next year. Jerry Jeudy looked pretty good. Cortland Sutton, he wasn't what I thought he was going to be. But as far as a buy low goes, I think he's the ultimate one right now because we've seen the potential of Russell Wilson, but if there's even a 10% chance that he ain't done and it was just a new system, new coach, new team, maybe he comes in next year and puts up QB1 numbers. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree totally. Right here on my list, I got Russell Wilson too. Quarterback 17 this year. I mean, we're talking about a guy. Last year I think he was quarterback. It was like 12 or 14. I can't remember, but we're talking about a guy who, let's see, he finished in the top 10 8 straight seasons. Then this time he goes to Denver or whatever. His situation definitely didn't get better. Like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, definitely better wide receivers than Jerry Jeudy and Sutton. I think people kind of bought into the hype with Russell Wilson because it was pretty known around the league, or the narrative was that Denver's a quarterback away from competing. But I think Nathaniel Hackett going out of there is gonna help. Yeah, you're right. We was dogging him all year. I was starting to kind of buy into some of the narratives that the dude's kind of crazy, but I don't know, man. It just seems pretty strange to me that he would be that bad this year. And I got it written down right here. The last 3 weeks, what did he do? He finished quarterback number 3 and quarterback 5, 2 out of the 3 weeks. So he's definitely still got some game. They just, get a new head coach up in there. Remember, Javonte Williams was out. Tim Patrick was out. Stuff like that. So Jerry Judy's still good. I think Jerry Judy's been a bust as far as like real NFL where he was drafted at, but he's still got talent. He's still pretty good. But yeah, I'm right there with you, Russell Wilson. What you say, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, Crap, I said, I don't think there's another chance that you're going to be able to buy Russell Wilson this low at all. Uh, I know people will probably just get rid of him to get rid of him. To be honest with you, shit, he may be on your waiver wire if somebody fucking dropped his ass get into the season in some deep leagues. But man, new head coach, we got to see next year. He's gonna get Javonte Williams back, but I just got to see it after what he did this year, because this year it looked like he was done.
Yeah, they'll probably go get another running back in the draft. I would say, maybe just try to beef up that O line a little bit. I don't know. We'll just have to see how it goes. Anything else to say about Russell Wilson, Craft Man?
No, I mean, just everybody, when listening to this, keep in mind that these are not the best players in the world that we're talking about. That's why they're buy lows. I mean,
Right.
dynasty's a risk. When you go out there and make trades, you got to kind of call your shot and play the odds.
All right, C Swizzy, go ahead and throw us a quarterback out there.
I didn't have any quarterbacks written down, but I got one that I could throw out there. Deshaun Watson. If you can get Deshaun Watson for a little low, I say go get him. He's 27, gonna be 28 going into next year. He hasn't looked that good this year, but he's gonna have the whole off season to get ready and practice with them dudes. He's already been showing that he's got rapport with Donovan Peoples-Jones. He likes throwing the ball to Njoku. Him and Amari Cooper had a good little game last game. If Deshaun Watson can even return to 3/4 of what he was, he will be a damn fine cornerback in the NFL.
Yeah, look, glad Chris said it. I have right here Deshaun Watson on my list. Dude's been out for pretty much 2 years. Then he comes back, and it wasn't like he was out there tearing it up or anything like that. I could definitely see you going in there and getting the Deshaun. And this is a guy right here. Like, you could get Deshaun Watson, and the upside is way up there. It's way up there. Give him a whole off season with these guys. Still got Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper, Peoples-Jones. I mean, the weapons are there, man. Oh, what's his name at tight end? I'm just brain farting.
Njoku.
Njoku. Yeah, look, Deshaun Watson literally finished number 5 at quarterback 3 straight seasons from 2018 to 2020. I mean, right now, I mean, honestly, it was the best time to buy low with him then. But if people see how they see how he played those last 5 games or whatever, I mean, he wasn't good. I think his very last game, he was the quarterback 8 in week 17. Other than that, he hasn't been that good. So now's a pretty good time to go ahead and buy low. I think he's a pretty good buy low in Superflex as well. What you say, Kraft?
I mean, if you're in the fantasy community like we are, and you keep up with all this stuff, I feel like Deshaun Watson's probably one of them guys that people. I mean, we all said it. We knew he had to shake off a little rust, and this is kind of expected. I've been down on Deshaun this year, all year, but I'm telling you now, like Chris said, it's a buy low. It's not going to last long, and I promise y'all, when redraft comes around next year, this guy's going to be the one when you turn on any podcast or anything. He's going to be that little sleeper quarterback everybody's talking about. Get him in the 10th. Don't get a quarterback early. Get Deshaun later, because the upside is going to be tremendous if he returns to what he was. So buy low now if you're going to do it.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's all we got to say about Deshaun Watson. Crap, man. Y'all said a couple of my guys. The rest of my guys are kind of lower level guys. You got any other bigger name quarterbacks?
No, all mine are super flex quarterbacks, really.
All right.
Number 2.
Well, shoot. All right, then. Well, here, I got one for you. And my next one is going to be Jordan Love, the backup quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. Listen, this is a guy, he's coming into his final year of his contract. I know he'll have a 5th-year option. So that'll give Green Bay a little decision to make, but you're not. It's gonna be tough for the. You can't just. It's gonna be tough to pick up a 5th-year option for you to be the backup. The dude's gonna be making some. It'll make a little bit more money. I don't really know the ins and outs of the contract, but I'm starting to think his opportunity is not gonna come in Green Bay. This dude's a first-round draft pick in the NFL. He's gonna get an opportunity somewhere. Who knows? I mean, a first-round pick could turn into like a top 20 guy in a couple seasons. So for as far as Superflex goes, Jordan Love is a easy buy low for me. Like I look right now, Fantasy Pros, they got him number 33 in Dynasty rankings right now. I mean, you can get Jordan Love dirt cheap, stash him stash him deep in your bench somewhere, and then just see where it goes, man. It's all risk, but if you can hit on something like that, what you say, Craft Man?
Yeah, he's on my list too, but for different reasons. I think if it was any other team, I would agree with you. If we're talking about the Jets here or something like that, but I think the Packers, I think Rodgers, there's a good chance he comes back next year, but this is the plan. I feel like this has been the plan since they drafted him, was do what they did with Rodgers and Brett Favre, sit behind a great quarterback, learn from him. And I think he'll be the starting quarterback for the Packers in the future. Maybe not next year, but the year after, I think he'll be the starting QB for the Packers, at least for a year, because he hasn't shown anything preseason-wise, or Rodgers has been healthy, so Love hasn't got on the field to show really all his talent or lack thereof. So I don't know many teams who's just going to take a chance on him and pay him any money. So I think I think he'll be the future for the Packers, at least a tryout.
Chris, you got anything to say about Jordan Love?
Hit, man. If my Panthers made a little move trying to get Jordan Love, I wouldn't mind that. Free agent wise for them, that Sam Darnold's up this year. Sam Darnold, his contract's up. Baker Mayfield, we waived his ass after we gave up a 5th for him. We got Matt Corral. That's it. I am with Austin though. I think that this is exactly how they did Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. They're going to sit him behind him and let him learn. And in a way, though, that hurts and helps him. One, it helps him. He's learning from one of the best quarterbacks to play the game. It hurts him that Aaron Rodgers has stayed so healthy and this dude has not played as much, is what I think hurts him. Because the best experience to me in the NFL you can get is getting your ass out there on that field, is the way you get it. But I do think that when this man becomes a starting quarterback, it's going to be for the Green Bay Packers. And I do think that that's a good pickup. You could stash Jordan Love and feel good about it in 2 or 3 years from now. So,
yeah, and if he does stay with Green Bay, went and got Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson. So, got some young talent. Couple wide receivers. So, yeah, I could see it all working out. I kind of agree. I was kind of on board with y'all the whole way, but a few years ago, like I was definitely thinking Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, he's going to sit. That was the game plan. I'm just starting to kind of waver on it now. This is kind of the first time I've wavered. So, any crap, man? You got another guy we can throw on out there?
Yeah, I got Gardner Minshew. Signed a 1-year deal with the Eagles. He's a free agent next year. If you're talking about a bridge quarterback, he's ideal for super flex leagues. He's not going to demand a shit ton of money for a team. Somebody's going to go out there and take a chance on him, I have a feeling. But it's risky. I mean, he could be the backup for the Eagles again if he wants to sign like a team-friendly deal. But I think Gardner wants to be a starting quarterback in the league. And he's shown enough in his time with Jacksonville and with Philly. You put him on a good team with a good offense. Put him with the Jets. See what happens.
yeah, bring him to Carolina. I'll take Minshew Mania in Carolina.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, I love me some Gardner Minshew out of Washington State. I've said, crap, you probably don't even know this about me. If Washington State and Clemson play today, I'd probably pull for Washington State, man. I've always loved me some Washington State. Gardner Minshew, I love Gardner Minshew. I think he's pretty good. I mean, he had a pretty good game. He had a pretty good game versus the Cowboys on that. It was over the holidays. I was sitting at a cabin watching that game. And Gardner Minshew did some pretty good work with Jacksonville. You're right, man. If the Jets, it ain't gonna cost a lot. If I'm the Jets, you done drafted all these young quarterbacks, and it hadn't panned out. Maybe go get you Gardner Minshew, a guy with a little bit of experience. I guarantee you, he can go out there and use Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, good defense over there in New York too.
Mm-hmm. That would be a nice little combo he's got.
Yep. All right, shoot. I got one, and Kraft, you gonna laugh at this one that I'm about to give right here.
I probably got him too.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Trey Lance. And listen, man, this is why and my thing is like, and before we go on, like, and me and Kraft, man, was laughing so hard at one episode, like, these people are like there's some people out in the industry that are so high on Trey Lance who hasn't played football for real in 3 years. To me, that is just mind-boggling, and that's the kind of stuff that I can't get on. It's the same with like Kadarius Toney. Like, that dude has not been on the field in 2 seasons. Like, let's just quit buying up this hype, acting like they're gonna be league winners and shit like that. But now I'm starting to think there's some people out there that are starting to come down on him a little bit. Like, it's starting to come along the lines of how we're thinking. So really, the reason why people like Trey Lance is the reason why I'm gonna say buy low. I mean, he's got first round draft capital. He's with the San Francisco 49ers. Kyle Shanahan, he just makes it work with everybody. Anybody out there, he can make it work. So we're talking about a guy, since he's got that high first round draft capital, he's gonna get a chance no matter what. So he just got to play. That's the only thing. But he hadn't played. People probably been stashing him for multiple seasons now. So now it might be a good time to play with Trey Lance. Because who knows? Maybe he'll actually hit some of that potential that people keep fucking talking about. What you say, Kraft, man?
I'm a little widget. I thought about putting him in there, but I couldn't quite do it. But the main thing is the first round draft capital trumps everything. He's gonna get a chance. If he was a third rounder, fourth rounder, they probably just give up. But he's owed a lot of money, and that draft capital will carry you a long way. I don't know many first round quarterbacks that didn't even get a full year to even try out.
Yeah.
Especially the third overall.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, this has definitely been a situation that's been crazy to me the whole time. Like, I remember when I first did the podcast, I remember Will was laughing at me because I said I got Mac Jones ahead of Trey Lance in the dynasty ranking. Everybody thought I was crazy. I'm like, Mac Jones is playing. Dude, Trey Lance don't even play. So he's more of a buy low target than me putting him high up in some type of ranking or shit like that. Chris, you got anything to say about old Trey fucking Lance?
I mean, I think that what makes it so appealing now to me is that he's on the 49ers. I feel like my toddler, my fucking 1.5-year-old could go out there and have success playing quarterback for Kyle Shanahan. Just so how good this offense is, man. I mean, you ain't gonna be asked to do much. Brock Purdy's not out there doing much, and he's a little low end QB1 play for these past few weeks, Imagine, but first round draft capital, third overall pick, yeah, he's gonna get a chance. He's just got to get on the fucking field.
Right.
Yeah.
Throw another one out there for us.
Dude, I got two of them right quick. This one ain't juicy, but it could be another bridge quarterback next year. Jacoby Brissett, he's on a 1-year deal with the Browns. He looked fine to me. I could see a team that doesn't have a lot of draft capital this year and can't get one of these quarterbacks to just say, hey, let's sign Jacoby Brissett, let him play a year until see what we can do, like the Commanders, for instance. They could go out there, maybe the Buccaneers, if Brady leaves, that he could go to one of them type teams and just hold them over until maybe the 2024 draft and see if they can get a better quarterback. But for next year, if you're looking for a super flex start, I mean, he played good enough where he could be a bridge quarterback for somebody. this next season.
Yeah,
And
look, I like how you brought up Jacoby Brissett because I'm just gonna be honest. The Colts should have never got rid of Jacoby Brissett. I feel like they would be far and away better having 3 or 4 years of Jacoby Brissett under their belt now than where they're at now. So I like Jacoby Brissett. I'm with you. If I was the Browns, I wouldn't want to let him go. I would want to see what I can do to keep him on my team. But
he might. I mean, he might be a backup. It's just a risk to take. I think he just fits that mold of just let's just put this guy out here for this year until something better comes along.
right. I got one more left, and he's a name we already mentioned. Well, I really got another one. I'm gonna just throw the name out there, but how about we just kind of wrap up the quarterbacks? I'm gonna say Brock Purdy. I think, to me, Brock Purdy is obvious because he's coming out there. I'm not saying he's putting up the best fantasy numbers, but as far as Superflex goes, I don't know what the 49ers is even going to plan on to do with Brock Purdy. I mean, somebody who gets desperate for a quarterback might want to try to go out there and trade for somebody like Brock Purdy. Who knows? Brock Purdy might have success in the playoffs right here. 49ers might not want to let him sit him down ever again. So I think, just a little buy low. This one, if there was any of them I was the most skeptical on, it would be this one right here. This is real low. And then one more guy I want to throw out there, Desmond Ridder for my Falcons. I mean, it looks like it's a possibility we might roll with Desmond Ridder and might roll with him for the next few years. And who knows if he could get it together. He's got Drake London, he's got Kyle Pitts, Tyler Algier. They're going to like to run the football, so, maybe he can have a little success. We'll see how it goes. What you say, Kraft, man?
Yeah, Desmond Ridder's a good one. I know everybody, especially here in Atlanta, wants the Falcons to go grab a quarterback in the draft, but shit, man, you got to look at the percentages. You got to think about it. There's only 2 good quarterbacks, really good quarterbacks coming into this next draft. And there's a lot of teams who need quarterbacks. So somebody's going to miss out on these guys. And they might be stuck with starting Ridder. I'm sure if they get the chance, if there's a way that they can get a Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud, of course they're going to get them. But, I mean, their record, they're not in the Texans are getting one of them for sure. And then, you got a lot of teams that are worse than the Falcons that are going to be drafting ahead of them. So they might just try to bolster up their offense and defensive line this year and wait it out.
Yep. I'm with you. You got any more names you want to throw out there? We'll move on to running backs.
Yeah, I'll just say their names. We ain't got to talk about them much, but Tyler Huntley, Lamar. I don't know about y'all, but I think he's sitting because he don't want to get hurt right now. I think he's fine. They can franchise Lamar though next year, but that might be an issue. Lamar might just hold out. Who knows?
Yeah,
but he'd be worth grabbing. And Kyle Trask, he might be the starter for the Bucs next year. Don't know how good he really is.
Yeah.
He's been sitting around. He's been sitting behind one of the greats too. So if he's learned anything, maybe he comes in and play some decent football next year if they don't go out and get one of these bridge quarterbacks.
Yeah, Kyle Trask had a good year with Florida. Florida really hadn't done nothing since like 2009, but he had brought him up there and had him in playoff contention. So yeah, Kyle Trask. I'm with you on that. All right, let's move on to some of these running backs. Running backs running backs are just a little bit different. I think quarterbacks. Basically, at running back, the position is a little more fluid, so it's like I think it's worth more diving into the weeds a little bit more on running backs a lot. So I dove into the weeds a lot. Chris, you want to throw us out a name first?
Yeah, I got you. I'll go down in the. I'm gonna name off a big name guy that didn't really have that good of a season, but I just don't think that the way that this team played, like everything that happened, there's no way this is sustained. DeAndre Swift. I think that this is probably the cheapest you're going to be able to get DeAndre Swift. It's a big name guy. You're still going to have to give up a little bit to get him, but I think this is the best you're going to get. He finishes the RB22 this year, 517 rushing yards, 328 receiving yards, and 8 touchdowns. This team ended up on the 1 yard line. I swear to God, I kid you not, more than any team in the NFL. And he just got vultured by the backup. There's no way that this is just going to happen every season. And DeAndre Swift, he saw his usage drop these past few games, but then the other day he went out there and just went the fuck off. Dealing with a little bit of frustration, but I still think that he's going to be a good player, especially full PPR. It's a good pickup to go get DeAndre Swift, and right now I think you can get him lower than you normally can.
Yeah,
What would
see,
you pay? I mean, it had to be a late first rounder for Swift.
That's what I was thinking, like a late first.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the year, you probably couldn't even pay 2 firsts and get DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
Now you might could get him for a late first. I literally probably right before the fantasy playoffs, I sold DeAndre Swift for Pacheco and a mid first. So that was me selling high. Like I was. The thing is, like I agree with Chris. But the thing is, if I'm a DeAndre Swift owner right now, no way I could just sell that guy for the low. I mean, I'd have to be pretty pissed off to just sell him for the low. Like, I would just hold him. The thing is, though, this dude was in a 3-way split by the end of it all. I mean, they're out there running Justin Jackson out there. So I can't really tell what that situation's about. That was just a confusing situation. I'm with you, though. If you could go get him for the low, I'd go get him because there's no way next year that they could just cut this guy out like that with that talent.
I don't know. Dan Campbell, I mean, it seems like he's got it the way he wants it right now. Jamal Williams is good. And we got to. It depends on where Jamal Williams is at next year. I'm not sure what his contract situation is.
Yeah, I think he is a free agent going into next year.
Yeah,
I want to say.
I imagine he's going to be back.
I don't think Dan Campbell thinks DeAndre Swift is a bell cow, though. Every time he's tried to give more than close to 15 carries a game, he seems to get hurt. So maybe that's one of the reasons where he's just like, hey, man, I've given you the chance. You can't stay healthy. Availability is the best ability. So
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep, I hear you. Yeah, DeAndre Swift, that's a good one. Kraft, what you got, man?
This one's probably obvious to you guys, but Khalil Herbert, get him before they make a decision with David Montgomery. You'll see a lot of the same type of sentiment I got around some of these running back sleepers, and a lot of it's around, I think the starting running back is going to be gone. And if you're playing with some folks that don't keep up, keep up with it like you might because you're listening to the podcast, you go sneak in there right now. You got to do it now. Don't wait to free agency. NFL free agency, that is.
And I'm with you, man. Khalil Herbert, I thought Khalil Herbert was better than David Montgomery for a couple seasons now. So, yeah, I definitely think that's the direction Chicago's about to roll. I think David Montgomery's going to hit the market. Somebody's going to pay Montgomery a little bit of money. I always thought Montgomery was more of like a volume play anyways. So, yeah, I'm with you. Khalil Herbert, that's a good one. Chris, you got anything to say about Herbert?
Yeah, I mean, he finishes the running back 42. He had 681 yards, 58 receiving yards, and 5 touchdowns. And that's not even playing, he had a few games that he started with David Montgomery out, but after that was just him making the use of his touches that he was getting. So if David Montgomery's gone, this dude's probably going to be a bell cow back there.
He's been on IR for a while. He came back either last week or the week before, and sometimes when players go on IR and they hadn't played for a couple weeks, people kind of forget about him a little bit. They've probably been sitting on dynasty benches. Nobody's really been paying much attention, and then you just go in there and throw them a little player, maybe a late second. And then you got Khalil Herbert on your team. You might have a starting running back for the Bears, who gonna be one of the most run heavy offenses in the league for years to come.
Sure, for sure. All right, I'm gonna give y'all another big name guy. This one right here, I for real think you can buy this guy pretty low, and it's gonna be Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara this year finished as the running back 29. Um, Probably gonna be suspended at the beginning of the next season. We're looking at like 6 games. So this is what I'm thinking. You could probably get Alvin Kamara for like a late 2, maybe. Maybe. I feel like you can. You could get him for a late 2. Somebody will get, but well, if somebody's willing to sell him though, that's another thing. But this dude was bad. This year he's been frustrated for the amount of work he was getting on third downs. I think Alvin Kamara's style of play makes it where he can play in the league for a few more years. So I think he's an easy buy low for like a back half of the next year. You could it would be nice to just have Alvin Kamara sitting on your bench all year and throw him in and then maybe get some work from him. And then maybe they'll use him right a little bit. So to me, this one's buy low, and I think you could get him pretty low with the suspension coming his way. What you say, Crap Man?
And you can act dumb about it. Act like you don't even know there's a suspension coming. Because the owner that's going to be giving Kamara is going to be like, look at this fool. He's going to be suspended next year. He don't even know he don't even know he's going to be gone. But look at what DeAndre Hopkins did after he took all his roids and had to sit out for 6 weeks. He come back. He was great. He helped a lot of fantasy teams this year. And anybody who drafted him, when Kyler was in, it worked out for a little while there. That could be Kamara next year. He could help you win some championships at the end of the year.
Yeah, I agree. Chris, Alvin Kamara?
Yeah, definitely. I was kind of disappointed in the way that he got ran this year. I mean, you're seeing games where this dude's not even getting more than 3 targets, and this dude is a pass catching back. I mean, I think they need to be dumping the ball off to Kamara. He should be out there on third downs, honestly. But there is going to be a suspension coming. You got to know that it's coming. It's for sure coming. It may not be no Deshaun Watson suspension, but he's getting suspended.
6 games.
Yep,
I
6
say
games.
6. There ain't no way that they're going to give this man like 11 games for that.
Nah,
6 or 8
no.
would be my opinion, like 6 or 8.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Who knows? The NFL might try to sweep it under the rug and hope everybody forgot about it. You never know.
All they did was whoop somebody's ass at the bar.
Right.
If any of us did that, wouldn't nobody know about it. And just go to court, get some papers, and be done.
Yep, exactly. All right, Chris, you got another name for us?
Yeah, I got one that I would probably say before free agency, go ahead and take a little gamble because you could probably get him real cheap. Kareem Hunt finishes the running back 39. 455 yards, 195 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns. He was working behind Nick Chubb. Didn't really get a lot of work this season, but he is in free agency. And this dude he has been a bona fide running back 1 before whenever he got the full workload. He's got the talent. He's just stuck behind Nick Chubb. And I would say just go ahead and gamble because I'm pretty sure you could get Kareem Hunt for pretty cheap nowadays. I mean, this dude finished, like I said, he finished as running back 39. He got 4 touchdowns, 455 yards. And I'm going to say go ahead and take a shot before free agency, though, because if he ends up somewhere juicy on free agency, you ain't getting him you're going to have to give up a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree. Kareem Hunt is definitely good. Even when he played in Cleveland, he was getting the work. He was definitely playing pretty good. Craftman, you got anything to say about Kareem Hunt?
Shit, Chris said he was an RB1 when he was getting all the work. Shit, he was an RB1 when he wasn't getting all the work a couple years ago. Him and Chubb were splitting. He was still RB1, but they just didn't use him much this year. I'm not sure why, but I think he's a little frustrated. He'll be gone. That's one that I believe 100% that he's gone.
Yeah,
but if You might get lucky, you might not. If he ends up with like the Patriots or something, then not good. But he could end up with the Rams or the Eagles.
Carolina, bring him to Carolina.
Everybody can't go to Carolina, man. Don't nobody want to go
Yeah,
there.
nah, we signing everybody. We just signed fucking what's his name? Oh, Josh Norman. This dude was a barista a week ago. Worked at a coffee shop. Give
That's
him
the
a
only kind of
jersey.
folks y'all can get in there, man.
Pepper's like, let's just give this man a jersey.
I watched that movie with Mark Wahlberg. That's the Panthers. They just set tryouts for just people on the street.
Man, I fucking love that movie, man. I was talking about that movie the other day, man. Makes me want to go out there and just start running around, get ready for a tryout. Yeah, I'm with you. Who knows, man? Kareem Hunt could end up, it's like Kraft said, Rams, maybe my Falcons. I doubt we do it now, though, but still, you never know,
With the
man.
emergence of Algier, I just think the Falcons are now out of the picture for running backs. I honestly feel like. But I don't know. The Falcons go and spend these draft picks on skill players all the time and make these moves.
We'll go get Bijan, and everybody will be so happy, and I'll be the only one like, what the fuck? Again? We're doing more shit? Like, but, all right, Kraft Man, give us another running back.
Shit, I got the redheaded stepchild to Dalvin Cook and the presidential candidate, Alexander Madison. You know, he's gone too. He might be gone too. He could. There's no telling where he could end up. He could be a complimentary piece. I'll say this at least: if he leaves Minnesota, he's a lot better off than he has been because he's either going to be a complimentary piece or he's going to be the main guy. Dalvin Cook runs that backfield as much as we like Alexander Madison's talent, and every single time Dalvin Cook has been out in the past, he has been a plug-and-play RB1 for your fantasy team. So talent's there. The size is there. He can carry a workload. He can catch the ball. He can play for any team in the NFL and be just fine. So I think you should go try to get him pretty quick.
Yeah. Right here, I got him on my list too. He didn't get as much work this year as he did last year, so you could probably even get him a little cheaper. Alexander Madison's like one of those names that's just always out there. So to me, he's gonna be like a little more expensive than somebody like a Kareem Hunt. I'm not even saying a lot more expensive, but I'm just saying like Kareem Hunt would probably be a little bit cheaper. Wouldn't y'all agree with that notion? Or about the same?
The age, Kareem Hunt's older. I think that's the reason he'd probably be cheaper. Madison's still, this will be his last year of his rookie deal, so still pretty young.
He'll definitely be gone. So, there's a lot of free agents, especially free agent running backs. So,
what if
who
Cook
knows,
is gone?
man?
What if Cook is gone? That's a possibility too. His
Yeah,
contract
true.
doesn't say that, but I'm not sure what the cap would be like the cap hit would be like if they got rid of Cook. But in my opinion, Cook didn't look all that great this year, so
Nah, he didn't.
they could move on.
Yep, I agree. Chris, anything to say about Madison?
I mean, like he's either going to be that complimentary piece or he's just going to be the workhorse back there. He's going to be the guy. He's always been like that. Dalvin Cook gets shoulder injured, and goes out, and Alexander Madison steps in, and you feel good about playing Alexander Madison in those circumstances. So if he goes somewhere and becomes the main guy, I think that, he's talented enough to hold it down.
Yep, agreed. I like him. Just never seen him be like the full bell cow, for like. I mean, who can even say that? There's not really too many bell cows out there like that. So, all right. So I got another guy. I'm gonna start digging down in the weeds a little bit. This one's not too far in the weeds, but I'm gonna say Zamir White. He was a rookie this past year. Sat a lot, but he didn't get a lot of work, but every game he would get like a carry or two. They would just throw him out there for a little bit. Josh Jacobs, I see no reason for Las Vegas to bring him back other than he was just good as fuck. But the thing is, like, you didn't pick up his 5th year option. If you franchise him, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. So you might as well just let Josh Jacobs walk. Probably a bad decision. If you think about it, though, Josh Jacobs was just like a pretty good running back for a few years. Then this past year, he was just great. But Zamir White, as long as they don't go, he's got that day 2 draft capital. So as long as they don't go get out another running back, Amir Abdullah's the little pass catching guy back there. I think they have a plan. I picked him up. I drafted Zamir White late in the 3rd round in a rookie draft, knowing that like there's a path for Zamir White to maybe be starting in a couple years, and here we are. People might have forgot about that. You can still go get Zamir White pretty cheap. Maybe throw a 3rd rounder at him or somebody like that, and who knows? He could be starting next year.
Yeah, I got him on my list too. I'm not ultra confident that the Raiders won't just go out and draft another one on day 2 or day 3 and throw somebody else in there. He was good at Georgia. Not a pass catcher at all. Bruiser kind of back. He's not going to be the best PPR option, even if he does get in there. I think he'll be, in between the tackles, Deontay Foreman type runner, something like that. But there's a window that he could get in. If Josh Jacobs leaves and they don't draft another one, he could be their starting running back next year. So that's why I got him on my list too. But I'm not super confident, but definitely a buy low candidate.
Chris, anything to chime in on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you guys remember, but at the beginning of the season, it wasn't even sure that Josh Jacobs was going to be the starter. And then they were leaning that it might be Zamir White that started. And then, of course, they did start Josh Jacobs, and he had this phenomenal season. But, there, like you said, there's a path there. There's a path there. It makes no sense for the Raiders to re-sign Josh Jacobs because they're going to have to open up the bank to do it. Let him walk, take your L, and, just move on.
Go ahead, Chris. Toss us another one out there.
I got a little bit of older guy, but he's definitely gonna be the starting running back with some contracts up. Jeff Wilson Jr. from Miami. 788 yards, 183 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns, finishes the running back 29. Raheem Mostert finished one position ahead of him at running back 28. Raheem Mostert is 31 years old, be 32. He signed a 1-year deal, and I don't foresee the Dolphins re-signing that deal. I don't know what I haven't looked at the cap hit, but I'm pretty sure that they cannot do it unless he takes like some cheap ass deal for him. So, in that offense, hey, yeah, he's looked pretty good.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
I like that too. There's just because they're older doesn't mean you can't find gold. I mean, like even Raheem Mostert this year, if you bought low on him, you had some decent gains out of him out of a 31-year-old running back. He helped a couple teams this year. So,
yeah.
And Jeff Wilson ain't as old as that bum. So,
Yeah, I like it. I'm with y'all, Jeff Wilson. I thought him and Mostert both looked pretty good at times. So that offense, good offense, a lot of scoring opportunities. So maybe if Jeff Wilson sees more of those opportunities with Mostert theoretically being out of there, I could see, Jeff Wilson definitely. Yep, that's a good one. Craftman, what you got?
I got a big name kind of along the lines of that DeAndre Swift take earlier. This guy hasn't reached his ceiling in the NFL yet, if healthy, and it's J.K. Dobbins. He's looked great since he's come back. He still ain't all the way healthy. He's even said that out of his own mouth that he doesn't feel like he's all the way back yet. But he's explosive. And the Ravens, they got Gus Bus. He's a decent complimentary back, which I don't even mind that. But you get Lamar back in there. We ain't even seen a game with Lamar and J.K. Dobbins in at the same time yet, I don't think, this year. So he's a buy low, but you're going to have to pay a little bit for him. But me personally, I don't know what y'all think, but he's closer on the lines of like a Najee to me. Like him and Najee are going to be close in my dynasty rankings. So I think he could be definitely a league winner come next year, because we always talk 2 years off the ACL. Next year will be 2 years. He's going to be ready to go.
Yeah, and coming back from that injury, he has looked pretty good. Even had a long, well, I'm not gonna say a long touchdown, but it broke out a run and then he scored a touchdown. So pretty much a long touchdown. So yeah, said he wasn't healthy. They've always been run heavy. If you just think about the odds of Lamar Jackson not being a Raven, uh, you know, I mean, there's no way the Ravens could just let him walk and shit like that. So yeah, I'm with you. J.K. Dobbins, run heavy offense. Right now would be a good time to buy low on him, because some people would definitely be frustrated. If I was the owner of him, I'd hold. So yeah, I'm with you. Anything else to say about J.K. Dobbins, Chris?
Oh no, I had him on my list as well. Finishes RB 53, 520 yards and 3 touchdowns, and when he did see the field. So, and that was in limited action. He didn't even play the whole season, and still hit 500 in a run heavy offense. I feel like you always want the Ravens running back. Always, that's gotta And if you can get the Ravens running back low, that's a good move.
Yeah. Heck, I'd still want Gus Edwards as a handcuff too. I wouldn't mind having Gus on my team at cost. So, yep, I'm with you. All right, shoot, man, I'm gonna go ahead and take it back in the mud. I got a few more names on there, and guy I'm gonna say is Keontae Ingram. Keontae Ingram's the backup running back for the Arizona Cardinals. James Conner, really throughout his career, has always been banged up, but this past year he didn't really get banged up, and James Conner was really good. But the Cardinals, they waived Eno Benjamin, let him walk, which to me at the time seemed crazy because I thought Benjamin looked good at times, but other teams are just dropping him now, so it's like I don't know. But Keontae Ingram, if when I first started the podcast last year, I did a little something I can't even remember, but I did a little sleeper on running backs, and Keontae Ingram, I had read reports when he had got drafted, he was the most talented running back in Arizona. So Keontae Ingram, stash him. You could get him for free. I picked him off the waiver wire in the middle of the year, but you could probably throw somebody a third or fourth round pick and probably get Keontae Ingram. So, any thoughts on that, fellas?
I knew he was going to be on your list. I was looking at him, but I was like, Matt's got this one covered. I knew he was going to be on your list.
Yeah.
He's going to get the start this weekend. James Conner's going to be out. So, but it's against San Fran, so you're not going to see good things out of Keontae Ingram this week. But, yeah, I like it. I think Conner will be back next year, though, the way his contract's structured. But,
yeah,
for a hold, I mean, Conner's not going to be there forever. And like you said, he ain't been the healthiest running back. So might be in premier handcuff territory next year, and then the future, he could be a starter. So I like it. Get him ultra cheap.
Yeah. Any thoughts on him, Chris?
I mean, I had him on my team and I dropped him, and you got him off the waiver wire. I'm pretty sure is what had happened because I drafted him because I had James Conner. And I was like, James Conner gets hurt a lot. This dude might play. And then Eno Benjamin stepped up, and then Eno Benjamin got waived and opened up the door. I mean, he's definitely got the opportunity. And I had been hearing the same thing, that he's definitely the most talented guy back there. It's just about him getting that shot.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Shoot. Go ahead, Chris. Throw us another one out there.
I got one that off the top of my head. I mean, when we're talking about like these contracts and stuff, like these contracts being up and these teams not re-signing, Chuba Hubbard, you probably get this dude like third, fourth rounder. You probably send him off and get him. Deontay Foreman doesn't re-sign. He's going to be the starting running back for the Panthers, a team that we have literally run the ball up the gut as much as we can. And, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. So I would definitely, be a nice little thing to have on your team to play against the matchups. We get to play Atlanta twice a year, so
Uh,
Very true. This is his second year, right? He was a rookie last year.
yep.
Okay. Be about 23, 24 years old coming into next year then, something like that.
yeah.
He's a track star. He's a fast little joker, but I don't know how much he can
He
handle
is
the
our
work.
pass catching back. Yeah. That's what I've been wanting to see. And I guess we'll find out if we don't resign or sign another running back next year. Because I just don't think we're going to go out and give Deontay Foreman money after
He can't
signing him to
be.
that 1 year deal.
He can't be the main guy no next year. There's no way if they let Foreman go, they got to bring somebody else in that's a bigger
Yeah.
compliment back that could run
Either
between.
that or right. Because even Blackshear's not Raheem Blackshear, he's not a
He's
run you
fast
over
as
type running
shit
back
too.
either. He's a fast running back. And we need a bruiser back there. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I like that one, Chris. Pretty good one.
Yeah, I do too.
Especially in PPR leagues.
Yeah. The next
Craft, go
McCaffrey.
ahead.
not even close.
Mine is a guy. He's been on IR, and like I said earlier, people kind of forget about these guys. But Elijah Mitchell, every time this man has been healthy, even when McCaffrey has been out there, he gets work. Kyle Shanahan likes him. I like Jordan Mason. He seems like a pretty decent little running back there, but Elijah Mitchell is going to be the handcuff next year. He's got, as long as he stays healthy, which he hasn't much, but when he's got the work, he's looked great. And McCaffrey, we all know about him. He gets a shit ton of work, a lot of workload, so there's a lot of risk that comes with that. So I like going out there and trying to get Mitchell right now. You get him extremely cheap.
Yep.
What do you think,
Agreed.
Matt?
No, yeah, I agree. Like you said, I mean, this dude always gets work and he always plays pretty good. Even when he was on the IR earlier in the year and they had traded for McCaffrey, he was right there. Yeah, right back to giving him the work. That's when people were starting to get a little worried about Christian McCaffrey had that big game, and then Elijah Mitchell had came back. So I believe even next season they'll have Elijah Mitchell and yeah, I'm with you, and Christian McCaffrey. They're gonna both give them both the rock. So yeah, I'm with you. I agree 100%. Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Christian McCaffrey owner in the Dynasty League. And once I saw that after McCaffrey had that big game and Elijah Mitchell came back, it was damn near a 50-50 split that
Yeah,
game. Like they both got to work. But the good thing about Christian McCaffrey is that there were plays that they had both of them on the field at the same time with the way that they run that offense, which, I mean, that's just what the 49ers can do with that juggernaut offense that they've got running over there. But he's definitely going to get the touches. And right now, you could probably get him real cheap.
Yeah.
agreed. All right, we'll start. We'll keep going quickly like we've been doing. Finish up these running backs. I got one. Pierre Strong from the New England Patriots. Damian Harris is probably out of there. With that said, I do want to say something about Damian Harris. Every time I see him play, I swear he looks pretty good. So he might be like a little sneaky buy low, and maybe he'll end up somewhere. But Pierre Strong, I just think Bill Belichick likes to run multiple running backs out there. Um, he had scored a touchdown a few weeks ago towards the end of the year, and so I think Bill Belichick will get him a little bit of work. Also, Kevin Harris on that team, but they were both rookies, both some buy low guys. But I would lean Pierre Strong mostly.
Yeah. If Ramondre fumbles one more damn time in the red zone, his ass ain't gonna play at all next year. Piece of shit. But
Right.
Ramondre's the dude. I mean, he's talented as hell, but hold on to the damn ball. Yeah, I do like that. Pierre Strong is definitely the more talented guy out of that group of Kevin Harris and him, not Ramondre, but between him and Kevin Harris, he's got the most potential to step up and be a really good buy low candidate. And the Patriots, it ain't gonna just be Ramondre next year. They're gonna they're gonna put some folks in there catch passes.
Agreed. Go ahead, Chris. Throw out some other names.
I've got another big one. Went on IR. It's a big name. But this is the lowest you're probably gonna get him. Javonte Williams. We talked about the Broncos before. This is the lowest it's probably gonna be. He's gonna be coming off that ACL, and that 2-year rule going to be in effect. We don't know how he's going to be next year, but I would assume that by the year after next, he's going to be fine. He's up there in our dynasty running back rankings for sure. And with him being on IR, you may find an owner that it's still going to cost you a pretty penny to get him, but it may be a lot less than it was at the beginning of the year, which you can capitalize on.
Yeah, that one's tough because I think it'll still cost so much to go get some Javonte Williams.
I don't want him.
Yeah, shoot, here's how I feel about him. I wouldn't go buy him, but if I had him, I would hold. Heck, I do have him. I'm a hold. So, but if somebody, but Chris is right though. But the thing is, if somebody came and threw the money at him or threw something at me, I'd definitely sell him. So,
if you don't have IR spots in your league, you could get him cheaper. If you got IR spots, somebody just throw him in there. But I think, Matt, you're the one who told me this, but wasn't Javonte Williams, wasn't his ACL similar to Dobbins? And Breece Hall had the clean ACL tear, right?
Yeah. It's pretty bad. It was more than just ACL. It was like, I don't know. It was pretty bad. I can't go into detail, but
all the L's.
All the
L's on all the L's, man.
All the A's, all the C's, and all the L's. They're just fucked.
So that was a pretty bad knee injury, which sucks because Javonte Williams was so fucking good, man. Dude had the juice. Crap, man. You got any more running backs you got to give us? I got one more name.
Yeah, I had two. We ain't got to talk about one of them, but it's just somebody you can grab in the offseason and hold on to. But the guy I'm talking about is Tristan Ebner. He's the third stringer for Chicago. He was a rookie this year. He's going to be the main backup probably to Khalil Herbert. We ain't got to talk about him much. That's a long shot. But if he's on free agency and our waiver wire, whatever y'all play, and it's the off season, you can grab him and hold him through OTAs next year. See how much work he's getting and everything like that, and just roll there. But my main guy is here's another quick one. Jaylen Warren for Pittsburgh. He's the number 2. He's the handcuff. And another you got to pay up, but you might get a return is Jonathan Taylor. Maybe. I don't know. There's people extremely upset with Jonathan Taylor this year. Me and you both had him. We're cooler heads prevail with us right now. I still think he's top 3 dynasty RB, but there's a lot of folks out there that don't want nothing to do with him right now, especially with this Colts offense and the direction they're headed. So if you want to buy, I guess it's probably the best time to do that.
Yeah. I say it still costs the first round plus, unless you're dealing with like a emotional person out there. Like Chris, you could never buy Jonathan Taylor low from Zamil. I feel like he would be a cool head. I feel like.
Yeah. Zamil's gonna sit unless you offer the bank to him. He's gonna sit.
2 first gets it done, don't you think, Kraft? 2 first.
Yeah, 2 first gets it done.
Because before this year, you couldn't get Jonathan Taylor for 2 first. So
no way I wouldn't even trade my 101 though. I'd rather just get Bijan and roll with that than get Jonathan Taylor on my team, because Bijan might end up on the Eagles.
True. Last guy I got was Jerome Ford, rookie out of the Cleveland Browns. Kareem Hunt's gonna be out of there. Dearness Johnson, he's gonna be a free agent this year. So this is just another guy with a path. Could possibly be the number 2 behind Nick Chubb. That's just deep in the mud. So not one that we have to talk about. Any other names y'all got for the running backs before we move on to wide receivers?
No, we good on the RBs. Just pay attention to these contracts. We're going to have an episode about that, talking about what running backs are going to be moving on. So we're gonna dive a little deeper.
For sure. All right, we'll move on to these wide receivers, and then we'll just kind of lightly hit tight ends like we always do. You know how we are with the tight end. So,
Tight ends.
fuck them tight ends. So, all right, wide receiver. I got two big name guys right here. So the first one right here I'm gonna do is Deontay Johnson. Pittsburgh. It's crazy because last year I was selling them high, man, selling them high. Now this year, I'm like, you could probably buy this guy pretty low, and there's been a lot of people down. This guy finished in PPR leagues 29th, 29. So, but what's crazy is he's still a guy who's getting a lot. He had 137 targets. Now it's definitely a drop off from the 169 he got from Big Ben, but the dude's still seeing a lot of targets. Kenny Pickett's going to do nothing but improve. I'm actually starting to buy in and like Kenny Pickett as like maybe not like a big fantasy player, but as like an NFL quarterback. I've seen him come along. I've seen him had a couple late drives where he came through. So I'm actually kind of liking Kenny Pickett a little bit. So yeah, Deontay Johnson, a lot of targets, still pretty good in my opinion. If you could buy him low from a frustrated owner, uh, you know, that's where I stand with him.
Yeah, that's a good one. The targets are there, and they're like you said, they're still there this year. It's just it's not quite as much as he was getting from Big Ben, but I agree, he is talented. He gets open. He don't have drop problems anymore. He's a good receiver. It's just Kenny Pickett got to progress. That's where I'm at. If Kenny Pickett can take a step forward, then he'll be just fine. He'll get plenty of maybe not the best yards per catch type guy, but plenty of work in a PPR league. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I've got him on my list too. Get him, and as he sees a lot of volume, is hoping it's only going to get better.
Yeah. I mean, I personally would pay a late, I'm saying buy low. Like, hopefully you could pay a second to get him, but I personally would pay a late first for him, maybe just depending on what the draft boards look like when we break it down and stuff like that. Because not too many players are just going to come out and just get 140 targets. So, yeah. All right. Craftman, what you got for us?
You did Trey Lance earlier, who we've been talking mad shit on all year. I got Kadarius Toney, hilarious phony, whatever you want to call him. He doesn't play much. His hamstrings give out when he walks to the bathroom. But as far as a buy low candidate, you got to stay level headed about this shit a little bit for buy low. Mecole's probably gone. Juju's not good. Scantlin is ass. And yet they're the number one seed in the AFC. And I still think that even if he's back and he might be the number one, number two guy, that Patrick Mahomes is going to spread the ball around, but he's going to have some very good games in the future if he's on the field. It might be hit or miss, or he might become, Mahomes' main wide receiver target. Kelsey's always the main target, but you can get him really cheap, especially from me. You can get him cheap from me.
Right.
I'm buy low.
Yep, I hear you. I like that Kadarius Toney. I think that's funny. Because some people are just so high on the guy, but as far as buy low goes, the upside is crazy with Kadarius Toney. You know what I'm saying? The upside is way up there. So if you can get him for cheap and the dude just randomly stays healthy for a season or so, and along that lines, I think Sky Moore is a good buy low at value. He was going at the end of first rounds of rookie drafts, maybe at the top of the second rounds. If you could swing a back end second rounder or something like that, or a mid second round against Sky Moore, if you like the talent. Same with him, but I mean I'm with you on that. Kadarius Toney, shoot, you could probably get him. I don't know, second rounder. Would you pay If you could get Kadarius Toney for a second, would you do it, Kraft? Well, maybe not you specifically, but I think people
I
would.
probably would for like a late second. I'd go grab him. The upside's tremendous. And one thing to say about Sky Moore, I thought about putting him on my list, and I think he is a buy low candidate. But out of all the rookie receivers this year, he's been the worst as far as the
Big time.
NFL goes. He fumbles he's been fumbling punt returns, dropping passes. But draft capital, he's an early second round pick in NFL draft. And, this is rookie year. So he might come out there and be a great buy low this year, and he could be a starter next year in the slot. He's a slot guy, and like I said, I don't think Mecole Hardman's coming back.
No, but neither. Chris got a buy low wide receiver for us.
Yeah, get him before he gets on the field with T. Law, Calvin Ridley. Get him before he gets on the field with Trevor Lawrence. I think this guy's going to have a breakout season. He is old, but I don't think it's going to matter with that offense that they got.
He ain't that old. He's older than people think.
He's like 27, ain't
he? Oh, man. Yeah, he's like 20. He's going to be 28 next year. I bet you wouldn't have thought he was that old, though.
I would have. Well, I probably would have said 27, but yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I actually like that as a buy low because I tried to sneak him in. I've tried to sneak him out a couple times, but some people will stay higher on him. I think some people. How do I say this? Some people like Calvin Ridley had a top 5 year with the Falcons and Matt Ryan. Like that ain't happening again, in my opinion. But he's definitely going to be pretty good. I could definitely see a top 24 season out of him. Maybe even a top 20 year out of him with Trevor Lawrence. I mean, shit might be wide open for Calvin Ridley next year. He'll probably be a little rusty at first, but
even with Christian Kirk and Zay Jones coming back, you think he has that much opportunity?
Well, look, my thing is, I think out of all the players that take the biggest hit out of all of them is Christian Kirk. I think he'll take the biggest hit because I think Zay Jones might be his guy, Trevor Lawrence's guy out there. So, I mean, that dude's been getting, 10 plus targets too. So, I mean, I'm thinking Zay Jones might be the guy. I'm thinking Christian Kirk. I mean, I think it's just going to be one of them offenses where you'd probably want a piece of all of them at the right price, if I'm just being honest. So, but yeah, Calvin Ridley, I agree with that.
I think so. I think he'll be all right. He wasn't on my list, but 2 years kind of removed from playing football, it's going to might be a long road to get back to being what he was. And he's a really good receiver, but as far as like physical ability, like he's not like the biggest guy or the fastest guy out on the field. He's just a smooth operator, man. Going to be a lot of targets to go around in that offense in the future.
Agreed. All right, so my next guy is going to be another big name, a real big name. I'm going to say Deebo Samuel. This guy has finished, let's see, he's the number 35 guy, been banged up this year. I think just like the opinion and narrative of Deebo is there's a lot of wear and tear on this guy. Like they used him up a lot last year. He's a little banged up this year. I mean, he finished the number 2 wide receiver last year. Also, a lot of weapons around there now. Got Christian McCaffrey going to get a lot of work. So I think if you could get Deebo Samuel at the right price, maybe swing for him. I think if you go get a Deebo Samuel, you got to be prepared. There's going to be some games where he's going to let you down, but there's also going to be some games where he just goes off for you too. And he's only he's only 26 years old. So fresh contract. I think he'll still get a lot of work. He'll still get a few rushing touches. So what you say about that, Kraft?
I don't know. I'm kind of on the opposite of you on this one. I think you should sell Deebo. I really like the talent of Ayuk now. Ayuk finished as of right now, he's the wide receiver 17 on the year, which is ahead of Deebo Samuel. And, there's so many targets to go around, and the rushing ability. I mean, he has rushing ability, but you got McCaffrey back there now. You got Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason. I don't know how many carries this man's going to get here in the future. The way he was, especially in 2021 when he was pretty much the running back for that team and the wide receiver for that team. I don't know, man. I'm down on Debo right now, but that's part of buying low. You got to find the owners who are down on him.
Chris,
Which is me.
what you say?
Man, I traded Debo at the beginning of the year and got me Christian McCaffrey that pretty much won me the championship pending Sunday.
Yeah,
That's all I'm waiting for is Sunday to come. I'm the champion for sure. But yeah, I mean, I just see the like Ayuk is playing really good, and this team is just smacking teams without Debo. Just, he's not even been out there, and they're still smacking the fuck out of teams. I just don't see like the year that he had in 21, where he was basically the running back. Like that's not going to happen again. That's not going to happen.
Nah.
So you just have to, temper your expectations. He's going to be just pretty much a wide receiver. You may see him out there in the backfield a few times. Like I saw him do it a few times with Christian McCaffrey on the field and Debo back there. But I'm just not going to be nowhere near as what it was then.
Dude, yeah, I could definitely see another top 12 year from him. Y'all off of that?
Yeah, I'm off of that. Ayuk this year, man, 109 targets. He's going to end up, if he gets 50 yards this week, he'll go over 1,000, 8 touchdowns. And then you're talking about Kittle and McCaffrey. They're going to eat every other game. And McCaffrey's probably going to eat every game. Kittle's going to have his big games. I don't know. I don't think the usage is there for him like I think 2021 was an outlier year for Debo. That's just me.
I
hate him. Hate Debo. Terrible.
Well, crap, man, throw us another name out there for us.
All right. This is one that I feel pretty confident about, but y'all can tear me down. I like Rashad Bateman. I'm gonna give him another chance. He's been injured all year. He's still he's been sitting in the bed like nursing his injury, and he's still been the best receiver for the Baltimore Ravens. So I mean that's really what it comes down to. His talent is he's a decent talent, good route runner, got some big playability, but they have nobody. Even if they bring in another receiver, if they draft one, he'll be the number 2. So I think he'll be just fine for you next year as long as he stays healthy, which, we talk about these players that ain't seen the field. We give Kadarius Toney a bunch of hell. Rashad Bateman ain't played much since he's been in the NFL neither. So, but I like the talent. I like the opportunity, and you can get him. You ain't got to pay much for him, I wouldn't imagine.
Nah, man, you could probably get him for a second, mid-second. Some owner would be down on him, or he'll be the number. You would think unless Baltimore does something, which they should, he'll be the number 1 guy in Baltimore, and hopefully Lamar will be back. I'm with you. I like Rashad Bateman. I've always liked Rashad Bateman. So Baltimore's got to go get some help, man, for Lamar. That's the thing. Like, if Lamar comes back, they got to go get this guy some. I mean, he don't come back unless they get him some work. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I'm with you though. Rashad Bateman, I think that's a real good one.
What you thinking, Chris?
Yeah, I've got him on my list too. Yeah, he got injured, finished as a wide receiver 107, and like Kraft said, I mean, this dude was sleeping in his bed, and he was still the best receiver for the Ravens. I mean, in the games he did play, I think he played 3-4 games. He had 15 receptions for 285 yards and 2 touchdowns. You got to think that, I mean, if he would have played the whole year, probably would have had a pretty decent stat line. It wouldn't have been terrible. But if you're gonna buy him low, this is the time.
I definitely agree, Chris. What you got for us next? You better not throw DJ Moore's ass out there. If you throw DJ Moore's ass out there in this segment, I'm gonna lose my mind. He better not be on that. Is he on your list?
He's on my list, but he's on the other
No.
side. He's not on my buy low side. He's on my sell high side. I will say
Okay.
that.
Okay,
DJ
that's
Moore
better.
is on my sell high side.
All right.
I got Rondell Moore. Finishes wide receiver 80. 41 receptions, 414 yards, and 1 touchdown, receiving touchdown. Slot guy, small guy, sometimes gets carries out the backfield. I know him and Dortch are kind of like the exact same fucking player, to be honest with you. Like they're like splitting the images of each other. But I mean, I think even when he plays, he gets to work. He's been dealing with some injuries this year, didn't play a lot, dealing with some hamstring stuff. So hopefully he can get it back. But I think you get Rondell Moore dirt cheap. Hell, I traded Rondell Moore for Brian Robinson towards the end of the year, and man, shit, that's probably about the most I was ever gonna get for Rondell Moore. And I got hated on for trading for Rondell Moore, and I turned Rondell Moore into a starting running back.
Yeah, I'm with you, Chris. I like
Yeah.
Rondell Moore. So
Me too. A lot.
Yep.
I like that little midget.
So
Dude,
yeah,
Arizona got a bunch of midgets running around on that team.
No. That's
Like,
just
who
hilarious.
you want to draft? Who's the shortest motherfucker in the draft? Let's go get that man. Kyler.
Shoot, I know, man. I'm with you. I'm with you though, Chris. Rondell Moore, that's a good one. He can stay healthy next year. I mean, he was still getting some work. Shoot, there was a lot of wide receiver injuries, anyways. There was just a lot of injuries, period, with Arizona. That whole little experiment went down. So you could probably buy low on pretty much every one of them guys if you think about it. Maybe not D Hop. Well, maybe you could. I don't know. D Hop's getting up there in age. So, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I got a couple things to say about Moore in the games he played this year. He played 7 full games. He got over 10 or more targets in 3 of those games and 8 targets in 2 of those games. So, I mean, in a PPR league, that's incredible. You're going to have a guy out there putting up 8 points for you without any yards. So, I like he was definitely on my list. Oh, Rondell.
All right.
What you got,
all right,
Matt?
This is where, well, maybe not this one exactly. Actually, yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna start getting in the mud a little bit. This one ain't really too far in the mud. This is gonna be one I was giving the craft man a little bit of credit to earlier, but KJ Osborne. And listen, I'm saying he's a buy low, but he had came on at the end of the year. You could have got him even lower a few weeks ago. I was looking up low, like Adam Thielen's contract. He does have an out after this year, but I doubt Minnesota takes that out. I think they'll hold on to him for a little bit. But KJ Osborne, shoot, man, he just really passes the eye test for me, and he's definitely played pretty good in those last few weeks. Went off in that little comeback versus the Colts. That's when I was really starting to be like, Stu KJ Osborne is going to be the number 2 for Minnesota here shortly, and I think next year he will be the number 2 guy, and Adam Thielen is going to be like the old third guy that they can just kind of rely on a little bit. So KJ Osborne, your sleeper at the beginning of the year, Craft Man. What you say about that one?
Yep, he's on my list. All y'all stealing my players. You had the Cardinals with the midgets. You got the Minnesota with the dreadheads. You got Madison, Dalvin Cook, KJ Osborne out there. You don't know which one's which. They all look the same when they got the ball in their hands. But the talent's there, and Adam Thielen is he's getting on up there, man. Getting on up there in age.
Definitely.
What you got, Chris? Why y'all shaking y'all's head?
I could definitely see us getting in trouble for that one.
That's what I was saying. He's like, they all look the same. Like,
no, with the helmet on, you see the dreads in the back, man. You got Alexander Madison and Cook and them, man. It's hard
man, I'm with you. I understand what you're saying, but
yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but let some woke motherfucker get on here listening to what we got to say. They'll be like, "Wow,
No,
insensitive."
I'll offset it right now. I say the same thing about the Dallas Cowboys tight ends. Them white dudes, they all look the fucking same. They all got the same facial features and everything too, man. Only thing that's different is the second number in their jersey. They all wear eight something.
Man, hey Chris, man, those tight ends, man, they are so pale white too, man. Like they are like white as fuck. So it's
Well, I know
like,
old Schultz is a game. Old Schultz is a big gamer, so that's why he's that pale. He likes to game.
look, I wanted to say something about KJ Osborne. The last, let's see, 2 out of the last 3 weeks, he was a wide receiver 1. He was a wide receiver 2 in week 15 and wide receiver 11 against Green Bay. And that was with, what's his name, getting shut down. So, you know, uh, yeah, I'm with you. I ain't saying he's going to be wide receiver 1 numbers, even though he's done it a couple times. So I don't know, man. Could be a top 24 guy. Looking at him here in the future. So I'm with you. Or heck, it was me who said it. KJ Osborne, yeah.
I'm with me.
I'm with me. Let's go.
I'm with me on that one.
Go ahead, Crab. Give us another one.
I got David Bell for the Browns. I'm not an Amari Cooper believer. Still not. I'm gonna come into next year. This man shouldn't even be fucking rostered. David Bell time next year. He didn't light up the combine. He's not a speedster. He's not a real big dude, but he's a polished route runner. Peoples Jones, he's pretty good, but I just like the talent of David Bell. I think he's going to be fine if Deshaun Watson takes a step up. He could be a good sleeper next year and somebody that you're going to want on your dynasty team.
Yeah, look, I agree. I'll have him on my list. I was gonna say the same thing. He just had his rookie year, so give him a little bit of time, be a little patient. But the one thing I know about Deshaun Watson, he'll throw it to the slot guys. So threw it to old Hunter Renfro a lot of times at Clemson. So the slot guy
That
definitely
won
gets
us.
work. And I like
That
David
won us
Bell
a
too.
national championship. Throwing it to that little walk-on midget that he had coming out there, just a little old walk-on player.
You know what kills me about Hunter Renfro is that dude's hairline has went way back. When I saw that dude, I was like, that dude is bald as fuck, man. Definitely don't look like a football player.
That picture you sent in the group chat, I was dying when he sent that picture. Holding up the bag of weed. Or whatever it is. I was dying. I was like, oh my God.
Him next to DK. Man.
Yeah.
Renfro's like 5. He's like 5'11", 185. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference if me and him were standing next to each other.
I know. Crazy.
And
but yeah.
I mean, that takes some talent though to, make 5'11", 185 and go out there and take hits from them big old dudes because I would die. I wouldn't be able to make it out there like that.
I heard that. But yeah, I'm with you though. David Bell, a good one. You could probably get David Bell pretty cheap. Go ahead, Chris. Throw one out there for us.
All right. Alec Pierce for the Colts. Finishes wide receiver 62 on the year. 38 receptions, 551 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I think this guy is going to step up and be the second guy behind Michael Pittman next year. I was kind of high on Michael Pittman coming into this year, and then Matt Ryan just took a big old shit. Because I was like, everybody, they hate on Matt Ryan, but, Matt Ryan was a competent quarterback, had an MVP season. I thought, at least with Jonathan Taylor, it would be a little bit better, but then that whole organization just took a giant dump on offense, and I don't know what the hell is going on. But Alec Pierce, you're talking dirt cheap if he's rostered. You can go get this dude, and I feel confident you'll probably have a number 2 guy going into next year.
Yeah, I'm with you. It just I guess now for the Colts, it just comes down to quarterback. Like, what the hell are they going to do? I imagine they're going to finally go young after all this time. But hell, they might go get Derek Carr now. You never know. So
again.
Well,
they can.
I'm with you. I agree. So yeah, I would imagine they'd go young. So then I don't know, but yeah, I'm with you though. Alex Pierce, he looks good. So I think as far as like him and Pittman both go, you just gotta hope they get some quarterback play in there, some O line play too. I mean, that O line was looking good before the year, but they look pretty bad this year. So,
Yeah.
Crabman, you got another one for us?
Shoot, I heard I listened to the footballers the other day, and they said that talking about Michael Pittman, he's had the most receptions, or he has the least amount of fantasy points of all time for a player who has as many receptions as he has this year. So
Jeez.
he's been catching a lot of passes, but I think he's a buy low candidate too.
Yep, same.
People are gonna be upset with him. This one's not. This one's kind of might be controversial for y'all. I don't know. I know you wouldn't sell him, Matt. Chris, you probably wouldn't sell him, but he's probably gonna be one you had to pay up for a little bit. But Hollywood, um, if you can go get Hollywood, he looked great at the start of the year and hasn't done anything since. Had the injury, had third string quarterbacks in there. I mean, I know I'm not buying him off of you guys, but do y'all think he's possible to get a hold of?
Oh yeah, I thought about saying him myself, but I was like, well, I know I wouldn't ever sell him because my thing, but like it's like my thing with Hollywood is like there's like a couple players out there that they just get kind of a lot of criticism. There was one more I was thinking about the other day. I was like, he kind of gets that Hollywood treatment. I'm gonna have to think about who that was, but like 2 years ago, Hollywood was the number 4 wide receiver before Lamar went down, and then before he went down this year, he was the number 5 wide receiver. So I would hold, but as far as like other people around the league, like they would definitely sell Hollywood low. Shoot, you could probably get Hollywood for a second. I wouldn't be surprised at all if you could throw a second and get Hollywood, and the upside is there. I guess now what we're waiting on with Hollywood is just put it together for a full season. For whatever reason, the past 2 years it just hadn't happened. So we'll just see what happens this year. I agree though. He's a perfect buy low. If I didn't have Marquise Brown, I'd go try to get him right now.
Yep. I would for a second rounder. I'd send that in a heart. It'd be an early second rounder. I'd send it right now.
What about a late first?
Yeah, I think
Probably
I could
would
try to go
too.
get him for a late first. I mean, who you gonna get in the late first? In the like, if you look at this previous year, you're looking at like Sky Moore type players, stuff like that.
George Pickens.
Yeah, George Pickens or something. I'd rather just have Hollywood. And DeAndre
Same.
Hopkins, I heard he might have played his last snap in Arizona. So
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, that's a good one. Next year will be a little contract year for Hollywood because I know they had already picked up that little option or whatever. I guess depends on what Kyler Murray, what he's gonna be like. I'm sure he's gonna miss some time next year. He probably ain't rehabbing that hard. So, uh, but yeah, I'm with you. All right, I'm gonna start going into the mud a little bit. Well, heck, we've already said a few of the names, so here's one that I got for y'all. John Mechie for the Houston Texans didn't play any football this year. Had some kind of cancer, I can't remember. But
I
yeah,
think it was non-Hodgkin.
yeah. So honestly, in my opinion, I would buy low on again on like Nico Collins because my thing is like what's about to happen is they're about to go get Bryce Young. John Mechie's already played with Bryce Young. These guys they're already gonna have a little bit of rapport. I'm not even saying John Mechie's the most talented guy or anything like that. I just think he could be a solid wide receiver. He'll probably have his quarterback most likely because in my opinion, there's no way Bryce Young gets past the Texans. I'm already seeing some mock drafts. But I've seen some mock drafts where motherfucking Will Levis is going up there. So, like, I don't know, man. I've seen some crazy shit, but if I was Houston, that's the way I'd roll. But either way, even if they don't, this was offered to me this year. This was offered to me. A guy offered me John Mechie for Miko Hardman, and I just sold it. I was like, I'll just go ahead and take it. I already know what Miko Hardman is. John Mechie, you never know. He might be like a top 30, top 24 guy at some point, maybe. So, what y'all think about that one?
I want to see him play, but he definitely slots in as a slot guy. So Texans, you got Bryce Young coming in. Did they overlap in college? They did, didn't they?
Yeah,
No,
yep, they did.
they did.
This is gonna be a
1
second
year.
year right here. So they played 1 year. Got
Yeah.
hurt in the SEC
They got a little
championship
rapport with
game.
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Georgia be taking out all the best players, all them best receivers. That's what
All them
Georgia does.
receivers be falling out. That is funny. That's at least 3 off the top of my head I can think of. What you think about John Mechie, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, with the medical issues he's dealing with now, James Conner dealt with the same kind of a similar situation whenever he came into the NFL. And look at him now. I mean, he's bounced back phenomenally. He does have some injury problems, but he did get past the cancer, and they got it, all out. He's in remission, so you just got to keep an eye out on it, man. I mean, this stuff is it's tough. Shit, the shit that they do to your body to get this shit out of you is hell. So hopefully he can beat it and get out there, because I mean, he's already, if they get Bryce Young, he's got the rapport with Bryce Young. He's going to be playing in the slot, so I mean, he could definitely have a good year. Definitely could see him being that top 20 guy for sure, top 24 for sure, if he plays.
You could probably get him for a third rounder, I bet. So, a lot of questions. So it's just a risk. Like, that's the thing about Dynasty. When you buy low on these guys, it's a risk, but it's like lower risk if you buy low. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of a risk, but you never know. It could pay off, and these payoffs could win you a championship. So, crap, man. What you got? Any more names? Got a few more?
Just one more, Wan'Dale Robinson for the Giants. He's kind of along the Rondale Moore type role, where when he was in the game and he was healthy, he was getting a lot of targets. And they drafted him in the late first or early second round in this past year. So, and the Giants, if we're thinking of any team that doesn't have a whole lot of receiver talent on that team, he has a clear path of being the number one guy without even being an incredible player. I mean, there's just nobody really there challenging him if he can get healthy.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, he was getting a lot of targets. I think Daniel Jones is definitely he's gonna get paid another year with Dabo. I couldn't agree more. I like that one. Chris, you got anything to say about the Giants? I know you fucking love the Giants.
Fuck the Giants, man. They're not that good. They overrated.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
All
he come back, man. I mean, there's just no competition for this dude to get the targets, and even then, when he did play, he was seeing Rondell Moore type targets. I mean, 10 targets, 8 targets, and even if he doesn't do nothing with it, that's a solid floor. If he's catching all those balls.
Yep. Agreed. Chris, how many more names you got at the wide receiver spot?
I got one more. Bigger name guy. You definitely took him in your rookie drafts, probably with a mid first. Treylon Burks. He didn't play most of the year. Coming back. He's got 29 receptions for 425 yards and 1 touchdown. Finishes the wide receiver 79 on the year. The biggest question is, how long is Derrick Henry going to keep playing? How long can Derrick Henry's body stay healthy with the way he plays? Because once Derrick Henry's gone, this offense has got to change. It's got to. Unless you find Derrick Henry 2.0 and sign him and run him into the ground like you have Derrick Henry, and going and getting a player like Treylon Burks. I mean, at some point you got to think that, hey, that they're going to try and get this guy involved in the offense at some point. But this one you might be waiting a little bit, but I think right now, I mean, you could probably get him pretty. You definitely can get him for less than what he was drafted for. I feel like.
Yeah, I think what helps this buy low work is this situation looks so doom and gloom for Treylon Burks. Like if you're looking at what his situation could be next year, it could be pretty bad. But you never know. Like if you could get him for the low or whatever. I'll put it like this: his situation looks so bad, it could help us buy low. But I think his talent could hurt it a little bit because some people still love the talent of Treylon Burks. When you watch him play, he looks pretty fucking good. So, um, if you could, I'll say this: if you're buying him at the mid first round. Would y'all trade a late first round for Treylon Burks this year's draft? I mean, we haven't broken down the rookie drafts, and I haven't really seen. I listened to a few podcasts where I was listening to first round mocks, so I would say I might would throw a late first out there for Treylon Burks. What about y'all?
Yeah, that's right on the edge for me. I would just keep my first. I think just because of you can have great receivers and put up really good numbers on bad teams. It happens all the time. But this situation, like we always say, situation matters, and I don't know who's going to be throwing the ball to this man next year.
Yeah, it's gonna look real bad if Malik Willis is the damn quarterback. It's gonna be. It's not gonna be a good situation. It's gonna be like the Falcons, but maybe more extreme than that. Maybe
The Bears.
the Bears. Yeah, it's gonna be like
Running
that.
around like Fields. And then you got Derrick Henry back there to run, too. Malik Willis probably 10 passing attempts a game.
Yep. So, all right, I got one more name for y'all, and that is Tim Patrick. He had got hurt before the year really even started. If you buy into the Russell Wilson's not gonna be, a little better next year, Tim Patrick could help it out a little bit. You know, give him an extra weapon. You know what I'm saying? I don't really think Sutton and Judy's really even all that good. So, but I mean, I like Judy's talent though. I do like Judy's talent, but Tim Patrick, give him a shot. Maybe it could be like the Tyler Lockett for Russell Wilson. What you say, Crab?
Yeah, I can see it now already next year. I'll be like, Tim Patrick, got to have that Broncos #1 guy.
Yep.
Wide receiver 11. Nah, I do like that as a buy low for sure, though. Tim Patrick, he might be, he could be the best receiver on this team because
it's wide open as far as I can tell.
It's wide open right now. And you
All right,
mentioned Tyler Lockett, man. Go try to snag old. If you're a competing team, he's 30 years old. You can go grab him. If you're a competing team, he's the most underrated player in the NFL.
He is, man.
Year in and year out. Nobody value Tyler Lockett the way they should.
I agree with that. All right, shoot, y'all just want to throw some tight end names out there real quick. We don't really have to go in depth with these tight ends. We'll just throw them out there.
I only got two. One of them's a big
You can
name, and
say
the other
that-
one is a guy that you took it.
Well,
I mean, I feel like we all got. I feel like we all got this dude on here. I mean, with the season hit, Kyle Pitts. I mean, I feel like this. If there's ever a time you're going to buy low on Kyle Pitts, it's this year. I mean,
Yeah.
he had 28 receptions, 356 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, this dude was, going as the tight end 1. In dynasty rankings. So
you could for sure not get Kyle Pitts in a tight end premium league last year. Now I think you could probably get him. So yeah, I agree. Got him at top of my list right here, Kyle Pitts. So Kraft, anything to say about Kyle Pitts or anything? Or you want to throw another name out there for us?
Nah, yeah. Kyle Pitts, super, super duper obvious. My guy, David Njoku, got him. You go buy low on him. I think we got a lot of Browns for buy lows because of the Deshaun Watson thing coming in next year. We've had David Bell. We've had Jerome Ford. Shoot, you could even say Peoples-Jones if you wanted to. And then David Njoku, if this offense takes off, a lot of good things can happen for these guys.
Agreed. A name I'm going to throw out there is Trey McBride. Tight end for the Arizona Cardinals. Out of this past draft, he was the best pass catching tight end. So we'll just have to see about Trey McBride. These tight ends are hit or miss anyways. I would take a shot on Trey McBride. Chris, got another one for us?
That was it. Trey McBride. That was my other tight end.
Kraft, go ahead and toss us another one out there.
Just Daniel Bellinger for the
Yeah.
Giants. He had a decent rookie year. I think, what was he, the number 3 taken this year? It was McBride, then Dolchich, and then I think him. And he had a better year than both of them. So, and we talked about with Wan'Dale Robinson, there's not a lot of targets go around in that offense. So he's been solid enough for a rookie. See what he can do next year.
Another guy I'll throw out there is Juwan Johnson. I think Juwan Johnson could be pretty good. I was dropping him on the waivers and picking him back up all year. So it's like, if it wasn't for the Taysom Hill factor, I feel like he'd be really, really good. So what you say, Kraft?
Quarterback factor is more, I don't think Taysom Hill, he ain't a tight end anyway. So
True.
If you just get a good quarterback in there and the Saints can move the ball a little bit, he seems fine to me, especially talent wise.
Yeah. Toss another name out there for us. You got any more?
Hell no, we done. We done with tight ends.
All right. I got real quick. Your guy, old Chiggy Nkonkwo.
Oh yeah.
Little good one. When I talk about him and Juwan, that's pretty much talent. Like, I'm thinking about these talented tight ends. Them.
Oh, I
got one.
more.
Go ahead, throw it out.
Jelani Woods. I did have one more. That's all I gotta say. Jelani Woods.
I got one more real deep in the mud. Irv Smith Jr. I think this guy could be like a little Gerald Everett type deal. Go to another team and do. I don't know. He's done with Minnesota, so it's like, Gerald Everett. He left, went to another team. He's had some pretty good success with the Chargers.
Chris about to say it.
I got another one too. If he can get on a team that utilizes him, Mike Gesicki. If he can get on a team that utilizes him, I think he'd be a really good tight end. It's just his offense in Miami is not favored him at all. I hate talking about tight ends, but Mike Gesicki could be a good tight end if he goes somewhere that actually uses it.
Crab, what'd you think Chris was going to say?
Come on to the Panthers.
Mike, no, dude, we got Tommy. Tommy Tremble, dude.
That's who I thought.
Tommy Tremble.
That's who I thought Chris was gonna say. I thought he was about to say Tommy Tremble out there.
Hell no.
But all right, then shoot, that was probably a pretty long episode we just gave everybody. But hey, when I talk to people, they love these episodes that go a long time. And when I listen to fantasy podcasts, those little long ones where they talking it out, those are my favorite ones to listen to. So. Buy lows. Today was the buy lows. So we gave you some in-depth buy lows. A lot of names we just threw on out there for y'all at a lot of positions. So take it, buyers beware though. It don't mean they're going to hit now. Got to take a little risk if you want to win a championship. So, yep. Crap, man. Anything to say to the people?
Yeah, I've been keeping up with the updates today, but Damar Hamlin got his breathing tube removed and he's talking again. So that's looking good. Things are looking good.
Yeah, that is good. That's the first I had heard. I had not heard since he had woken up. So, yep.
Man, shout out to the on-field response crew that helped him out. They for real saved this man's life. On the side, on the field that day. They really did. They did a great job. And the trauma center that he was sent to get him back after something scary like that, I mean, it's phenomenal. Hopefully he can get back out there and he can put this behind him. The shit, not even just the NFL's behind him. It seems like the whole world's behind him at this point. So
agreed. Yep, I'm with y'all, man. I say we just wrap it on up. Before we do, remember, add the podcast. Give us that motherfucking 5-star review. Check us out on YouTube. Get our views up. Spread the word, man. We like doing this podcast. Everybody else, we're going to put out some good content. Just like tonight. We gave out some good content. Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, join the Discord. Gotta start pushing that Discord. So we're doing a lot of things, man. Y'all just check us out. We give you the fantasy. We're giving y'all a lot of dynasty work. Give you a lot of gambling. So just thanks for listening to the podcast for those of you out there. So yeah, man, that wraps it on up, man. We out.
Peace.
Peace.